Hello, hello, hello. Sorry for the week 9 fantasy outlook absence. I was out of the country for my wedding, and I know Derek did his best to answer any questions that you guys had through social media. So thanks for sticking with us. But it is now week 10, and I am back, and Derek is here, and we have a huge double game week this week. There's 8 teams on a double game week, and there is a nasty week 13 with a bunch of buys coming up. So everybody should keep that in mind. In the OC Lions Fan TV League, I jumped last week to 8th. I had an 87-point performance. So for not checking my lineup and not checking fantasy, that's probably pretty good for me. Derek, you can take over from here.
I had 79 points last week. Actually, that was about the point total where I started the year. I did take a -4. I forgot who I actually put in to get that -4. Really, but the captain Giovinco, which always works out well. He had 18 points with the armband, but he wasn't even the highest player on my team. I mean, I had Drogba from that 4-4. Let's fight over the penalty kick game in Columbus last week. That was a fun game to have if you had multiple players, especially since Piatti, who finally decided to show up again the week after I drop him, and he scores 18 points. So if you drop Piatti, no one's gonna blame you because he played like crap for the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks before this game. And I mean, he always had the potential to do that, but the numbers the past few weeks and his upcoming schedule showed, oh, why not drop him? Sometimes that just happens. That's about the third time that's happened to me this year, though. So I'm kind of pissed off about that. Yeah, I mean, I had a few good performances. I had Drogba 16. Ronald Matarrita had 13 points on the road. I was actually thinking about sitting him this week if Reading played. And then Matarrita comes out and get 13 points on the road. I was thrilled about that. So yeah, I mean, 79 points. I just need to start moving up the board. I mean, I think I had green arrows. I forgot to check. If I did, I really didn't move up that far. So whatever. Pulling up week 10. This phone sucks. There are 8 teams in double game weeks, and as soon as my phone lets me up there, what are the teams? Chicago, Vancouver, Portland, SKC,
Dallas, Houston, Colorado,
Colorado, and there's one other, right?
Chicago.
Chicago. All right. Yeah, I would have had the teams out there, and my phone's not loading now. But big thing about the double game week this week is don't load your team full of players on double game weeks just because they're on double game weeks. I mean, there was an article written a few weeks ago that I saw that shows it's not always the greatest idea to load your team with double game week players because single game week players are performing just as well. I.e., Sebastian Jovinko. And hurry up, damn it. I mean, the team I'm really trying to avoid this week is SKC because they play. Here we go. About time. It's Chicago, Colorado, Dallas, Houston, Philadelphia, Portland, Sporting Kansas City, and Vancouver. Sorry about that, guys.
We got them all covered. You can go to the games. You're trying to avoid SKC.
Yeah, I'm trying to avoid SKC because they haven't won in 6 games. Vermes is always a DGW rowdy with his rotations. He's pretty much rotated anyone not named Nuno Coelho. I mean, he's even rotated his goalkeeper. Who the hell rotates their goalkeeper? Honestly. And shockingly, they lost that game. So, and he's already promised more rotations. He's been on the record on the SKC newspaper this week saying, I'm mad. I'm old Peter Vermes. I'm going to rotate this week. Blah, blah, blah. I'm going to lose more games because I'm a dumbass. So, it's even if,
So, and their first matchup is tomorrow versus Colorado.
yeah, and Colorado is the best defense in the league. So, let's avoid that. And then they play us, but it's whatever. It's really whatever at this point. But yeah, I mean, I have 2 Kansas City players, and I'm willing to take -4s to drop them for players who are actually playing well. Because for players like Foulhaber, you're paying $11 for him. You're expecting more than a 4, a 5, and a 6. You're expecting more like Giovinco range. If he gets 8s and 9s, you're looking more towards that. So, like Sasha Klefchen's performing in that range right now. Look at his numbers. He's got a double game week in 11. You can go ahead and buy him if you want. But, there are still pretty good options for week 10. Chicago, I know they have a lot of good options. Matt Lamson, Jonathan Campbell, Kappelhoff. No, that's pretty much it. But they have two.
Defensive options.
Yeah, it's defensive options. I mean, one of my biggest pet peeves is on double game week. Someone gets like the most obscure player, and they do well doing it. Someone is going to buy Kennedy Abuananike this week and end up on like team of the week or some shit like that. Just some stupid player no one else is expecting to pick. Whatever. My thing with Chicago this week is they have 2 away games. They're at Vancouver on the 11th, and they're at New England on the 14th. So they're traveling across the country. Not exactly a good thing. I'm probably going to hold off on them this week, especially since they have a DGW next week too. But I'm not going to blame you if you go get like a Jonathan Campbell, because I'm not sure he's going to get rotated. They haven't been rotated at all this year. So my other thing is their coach is new, Veljko Paunovic. I have no idea how he rotates. I'd love to tell you how he rotates. I just can't because I don't know. Colorado, Marco Papa and Dylan Powers are still out, and Pablo Mastroeni is not the asshole he's been the past 3 years in MLS Fantasy. So, feel free to buy their defenders. Axel Hoberg, Zach McMath, Birch, feel free. Feel free. Just make sure they actually start, because I think the first game. No, they're not. They're the second game. But check their past few starting lineups. You'd be fine with Axel Hoberg. Zach McMath. Offensively, Jermaine Jones. I'm probably going to put in Jones for Benny Fallhaber this week. I don't know why they priced Jones at what he did. He's like 8.1, 8.3, something like that. Either way, he's kicking ass right now.
Jones is 8.2 with 35 points.
Yeah, he's played like 4 games. He's averaging 9 points a game, people. Good thing is he's playing in that number 10 role, which is just great for his fantasy value until Marco Papa and Dylan Powers comes back. So let's capitalize on that this week.
He's got 15, 7, 6, and 7.
There we go. Those are some good-ass numbers, man. I like that. Yeah.
Decent price.
They're playing struggling SKC at home, and then they are at Columbus, who we all know just blew a 3-goal lead at home. So, yeah, Jermaine Jones, 5. 2 sneaky picks of the week. Skel Shingashi has finally decided to show up, and Louis Soloniak started like the past 5 or 6 games and has scored a couple goals in it. So those are like sneaky picks if you don't want to go with the obvious picks. FC Dallas, no, they really haven't played well lately, but 2 home games. God, that's like the DGW holy grail when you got a good home team at 2 home games and their best player is exponentially better at home. So Mauro Diaz needs to be on your roster this week, and you should probably captain him. Because in his 2 home games this year, he has like 14 and 12. Like, yeah, I'll definitely take that. Defensively, I'd probably hold off on them because they haven't played well defensively in a while, especially since Matt Hedges is still out. And also, I'm not sure if Jesse Gonzalez is going to start because he was stretched off the field at Toronto. So,
And that doesn't sound too good.
Yeah, too bad Ryan Hollingshead doesn't actually qualify as a fantasy goalie, because that's who replaced him. No idea what happened to Chris Seats. So, moving on to Houston, I'm really, really, really not sure what to think of this team. Because Owen Coyle is a rowdy, but he's not a DGW nightmare. Let's just say that. Cuba Torres started like the past 2 games, I believe.
Oh, your audio just went real low.
Really?
Yep, there we go. You're back now.
All right. Yeah, Cuba Torres has started the past 2 games, which is weird. That's weird, but No, he's starting, and hopefully he'll get on the score sheet here soon. Damn it.
All
So,
right. No, it's okay. And what about San Jose?
and my other Houston option is Alex, the defensive midfielder. He'll get you about 5 points a game, which is a good sign. San Jose, is it? Oh, not double game. And Houston's at San Jose, and they're at home versus RSL. So, moving on to Philadelphia. This is a team I really like for the upcoming double game weeks. Big reason why. They have a double game week this week. They have a double game week in 12. They actually play in week 13. And they have a double game week in week 15. So,
Lots of upcoming games.
yes, lots. And that's exactly what you want if you're MLS fans.
But like 3 or 4 weeks ago, we were saying that about SKC. So, buyer beware, kind of, because you just said avoid SKC at the beginning.
Well, that's because they played like shit.
Right.
Philadelphia hasn't played like shit yet.
Okay. Not yet.
I'm just waiting for them to start playing like that. So, CJ Sapong is always a good fantasy option, especially at his price point. He's about the Maxi Rudy price range right now, like 8.5, something like that.
8.2.
So, yeah, I mean, that's even cheaper. That's very good for a starting striker. He's actually scoring. If he wasn't scoring, that's something different. Kilo Barnetta is starting now, which is always a good thing because he's their number 10, and you want a lot of those players on your team. So he's also a free kick taker and PK taker, I believe. I'm not sure on that. I know, but he at least takes free kicks. We would know that. So, and then Keegan Roseberry is probably their best defensive option. Like 5.1, but he's their left back. He'll get you about 4 points a game, which is really good for that price point. That just hope for the occasional clean sheet. Or you can go with like Fabinho as a center back. And someone I really like this week, but I'm probably not going to add because he is called up to Jamaica, is Andre Blake, their goalkeeper. This kid's going to be a star one day.
Man, for 4.9, that's such a steal, too.
Exactly. The kid's going to be a star. Every time I watch him play, I come out just massively impressed with these saves he's making. So he's going to be a future star. He's an MLS fantasy star already. Just beware, you're probably going to have to transfer him out soon unless you have another goalkeeper because he is being called up to Jamaica. And who's next? Portland, Diego Valeri, Fernando Adi, the usual suspects.
Talked about him 10 times already at this point.
Yeah, you don't need to tell me. You don't need me to tell you about Diego Valeri and Fernando Adi anymore.
No.
Liam Ridgewell's back. Really good thing. That means their defense is not crap. So you can add either Ridgewell or Borchers and feel good about it. I'd rather have Ridgewell, who's slightly more expensive than Borchers, I think, like 8.2 area. And then Jake Gleason had one bad game last week, but he's a keeper on a double game week. He's playing NYC at home, so why not?
Borchers is 7.8 and Ridgewell is 8.0.
Yeah, so I mean they're really close in price point. You could add either one and it won't matter. So
Alrighty, let's keep going.
Sporting Kansas City, skip. Just like they're terrible right now. And Vancouver, I mean their strikers are like literally fantasy useless. But I don't know why you'd add one, honestly.
All
But
right.
my sneaky pick of the week is Christian Bolaños, their midfielder. He's probably a good bet for 150. He takes their penalty kicks and free kicks, and he's played well of late. So, yeah, I'm not even touching Pedro Morales since he seems to wants to play central defender more than anything right now. Hey, I'm your playmaker. Let's go play central defense and screw up all my fantasy players. I'm not touching their defense. I have Frazier aired, but he always gets rotated, so I'm probably transferring him out. It's like, because I don't want to deal with him getting rotated. He's been rotated the past 2 DGWs, I think.
All right. Single game week options.
Giovinco is always a good option. Drogba's at home, so that's a good thing. Let's see who else is at home this week. Chris Chris Wondolowski missed a penalty, which is very uncharacteristic because he usually never does that. But they're playing Houston at home, and Houston sucks on defense. So, yeah, I mean, if you really want to try that, yeah, go ahead. But, Drogba, Giovinco, best options. Sasha Kljestan has played his ass off like the past 3 weeks. That little flopping motherfucker we saw last week.
And DC United's not that great.
Yeah, DC United just got beat at home by New York City FC. That's all you need to say to add Kljestan. That and he has a double game week next week. I honestly don't care that game's on the road. New York is in form. DC is not. Sasha Kljestan is good. His defense is not. So,
Alrighty.
I'd personally rather have Jermaine Jones this week, mostly because I don't think he'll be rotated. There's like no way Pablo leaves him off the way he's playing right now. But yeah, no, those are my big options this week.
All right, and you want to go budget defender of the week?
Keegan Rosenberry, Philadelphia, or Jonathan Campbell with Chicago. But I like Rosenberry more because they actually play at home.
All right.
Against LA, but they play at home.
And how about a budget goal scorer of the week? Hard to predict, but I'll put you on the spot.
Can you give me like a maximum price point for that?
A budget under 9.
CJ Sapong then.
Okay. So going heavy, Philly on heavy. Okay.
I love Philadelphia the next like 4 weeks. So.
All right. Well, is that all you got?
Yeah, good luck this week, guys. You could always tweet me at Raise1299. Good luck this week. Just remember, just because the team's on double game week, make sure you know how they're playing. And make sure they play in week 13 because you don't want to be screwed over that week. Lots of bye weeks.
All right. Well, that's all Derek's got, and I'm just a sidekick in this one. So thank you for your time, and that's all for ours. Peace out.
Okay.